Myers-Briggs personality is based off the work of Carl Jung, who designed 8 cognitive functions in related personality. Each personality type favors 2. We will go through each cognitive function and how they relate to social psychology. Of the 4 judging functions, I will talk about extroverted thinking, which asks how to get the job done. It is goal-oriented, logically objective, and it seeks external order. This one is related mostly to power, which is one's control over another person or group. It is an attribute found in leadership positions because extroverted thinkers like to control their environment, and so with power, by controlling the people around them, they get to control how jobs get done. This is why you will find many extroverted thinkers in leadership positions.
The next cognitive function is introverted thinking. While extroverted thinking seeks order externally, introverted thinking seeks order internally. The logic is subjective and based on a person's knowledge structure. Introverted thinkers are more likely to ask, how does it work? The concept we apply for this is intrinsic motivation, which means wanting to perform an activity for its own sake. The introverted thinker wants to know things for the sake of knowing because it creates inner order. In relation to intrinsic motivation, the introverted thinker will learn information or engage in an activity not for some external goal, but for the sake of gaining for the self. It is to build a deeper logic and more order with.
So rather than only discussing one function, we're going to be discussing 2, which are introverted and extroverted feeling, and how they correlate to the concept of empathy. Extroverted feeling tends to consider other people, which allows them to absorb their emotional state or mood. Now, this is essentially empathy, and as we learn empathy in class, it is defined as reacting to another person's emotional state by being able to reciprocate that same emotional state in yourself. Introverted feelers, on the other hand, tend to consider themselves before they consider anybody else. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that they are selfish or that they don't have empathy, it's just that they process it at a different route. So rather than absorbing this emotional state, they imagine themselves being in that state, which allows them to mirror. And because of their vivid imaginations, it makes the process of showing empathy by mirroring that much easier.
Now the perceiving functions. The 5th mental process and personality we'll discuss is introverted sensing. Introverted sensing considers the past, personal experience, and traditions. Introverted sensors are more detail-oriented. They like things to be orderly, uniformed, and within a routine. The social concept that is linked to introverted sensing is rule of law and obedience. This means members of society follow and respect its rules and follow orders from authority leaders. The introverted sensor favors structure, order, and highly respects the chain of command, as well as society rules, to avoid any chaotic or unplanned events. Introverted sensors believe in doing what has been proven or trusted by authority figures. They also see rules as being necessary to have and to follow.
The next social concept is a simulation heuristic. This relates to introverted intuition and extroverted sensing. Introverted intuition is a big picture perceiving function that considers the future and the abstract, while extroverted sensing is a detail-oriented perceiving function that utilizes the 5 senses and focuses on what's happening in the moment. Simulation heuristic is when you judge the likelihood of an event by simulating it in your head or imagining it. Introverted intuition and extroverted sensing contrast when related to this concept. Introverted intuitives are very good at doing this. Simulation heuristic is a way that they consider their plans for the future. They predict events based on data collected in the present and simulate how things might happen. Extroverted sensors are too busy living in the moment and reacting to the world in real time. Extroverted sensors and even other types might attempt to look to the future by simulating it, but this isn't their natural skill, so they'll be more likely to do this with inaccuracy.
The 8th and final cognitive function is extroverted intuition, a mental process that skillfully connects things that are seemingly not connected. It also likes to generate and consider multiple ideas and possibilities of what could be or what might happen. Personalities with this function need freedom to be creative, to invent and see connections in the world that other personality types can't easily do. This relates to the concept of reactance theory, which is the idea that people are distressed by the loss of freedom or options and seek to reclaim that freedom. Extroverted intuitive feel unable to use their superior imagination and ability to generate ideas for future progress. They will do anything to regain that freedom, whether it be to fight authority or to tear down tradition.